Okay, so in some of my previous videos, I talked about how I was going to do a video about finding stealth camping in Seattle. And of course, this is what a typical street looks like, where you've got houses on both sides of the road and then people just park on the street. In fact, this is the street I used to park on when I very first moved to Seattle and I was looking to do some stealth camping. I was easily able to find street parking, just spaces on the road, squeeze right in, parallel park, and I would be able to park there and sleep for the night. However, some streets in Seattle have a fairly interesting layout in that they have, the houses on both sides of the road, people park on the street, but then in the middle of the road, there's kind of like this green, grassy park area. Now, I'm not sure why this is. This is probably just to beautify the neighborhood. Maybe people use this space to walk their dog. Some people may even consider this wasted space since you could probably use this area to build more housing for people in the city of Seattle. I think some people have decided the best use of this space is to use it for more parking in Seattle. I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on the fact that a city like Seattle, when you rent an apartment in Seattle, a lot of apartments don't even have parking. You're expected to just park your car on the street. And I feel like this is sometimes good for if you're going to be doing stealth camping, because the streets are basically like, it's just assumed that people are going to park on the street, right? Because if you're living in an apartment buildings, just they don't offer parking garages or a parking lot or anything, just because there's such a high population in a very small area, which is Seattle. And so because there's so many cars parking on the street, this can be both good and bad for stealth camping, because that means you can just park there as well and no one's gonna know the difference. You're just another car on the street. No one's gonna question why someone's parking on the street, because everybody's parking on the street. But that's also, when I said there's good and bad, well, the bad is because everyone's parking on the street, parking's very limited. It's very hard to find parking. A lot of this, of course, like I'm saying, is parallel parking. You have very small cramped spaces, so if you're driving some big motorhome, it's going to probably be even more difficult to find parking. If you happen to have a tiny little car like I do, then it's easier. You could squeeze into a spot easier. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you some areas of Seattle where you can easily find stealth camping if you happen to be in the area and you're looking for somewhere to park. Just look for some of the street parking, these weird middle-of-the-road parking lots. Just look for signage. Make sure there's no signs that say don't park here. But for the most part, none of these areas have those signs up. So that's why I wanted to film them and show them to you in this video. that's just my little commentary regarding Seattle and the fact that there is both good and bad elements for stealth camping, and a lot of that has to do with the way the city is set up, because of the housing situation and because of how people in apartments, they just don't offer any sort of parking. And a lot of that is because Seattle has a very great mass transit system. They've got city buses and they've got a light rail, so you can just walk on foot really to get to a lot of places. So people don't really need cars. And because more people are changing into a car-free lifestyle, they live in the city, they can just walk to the store, they can hop on a bus to get to work. Buses run every 10 to 15 minutes, so it's easy to get around without a car. But like I said, that means for anyone wanting to do stealth camping and just parking on the street, very easy to do, very easy to get away with, because everybody else just happens to be parking on the street. No one's going to question you. No one's going to knock on your door and tell you to move. So that's my feelings on the situation.